Good evening. My name is Christina Vick, and I am the co-chair of the Committee on Lectures and also a member of the National Affairs Committee. Ditto. I'm Madeline Tomka. I'm co-chair of the Committee on Lectures and a member of National Affairs. And we'd like to thank you for coming out tonight, and we'd also like to thank the government and the student body for providing funding and also to the Freshman Council. On behalf of the National Affairs Series planners and the Committee on Lectures, I'd like to remind everyone of some of our upcoming events. The Spring Presidential University Lecture by primatologist Jill Brutz on Savannah chimpanzees and our understanding of human evolution will be in the sunroom at 8 p.m. on March 2nd. Former chair of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights and law professor Mary Frances Berry will close the National Affairs Series at 8 p.m. on March 3rd, also in the sunroom. And finally, Michelle Norris, host of National Public Radio's All Things Considered, will speak in the Great Hall at 4 p.m. on March 6th on the topic Race, Gender, and the Future of Leadership in America.
All right, let's get on to Carrie Stein. Carrie has written about Capitol Hill politics, immigration policy reform, saltwater crocodiles, and Paris Hilton panties for Newsday, the Chicago Reporter, National Geographic Television, and she's also written for the Tyra Banks Show. Not necessarily in that order, though, but nonetheless very cool. So Carrie writes the humorous dating column Single and Fierce for the Tyra Banks Show and had a recurring role on the E! Network's 7 Deadly Hollywood Sins. She is a member of the sketch comedy group The Deviants, produced by Maverick Television, and recently performed her original sketch comedy show, Midwestern Wisdom, at the prestigious Comedy Central stage. She's an alum of the Groundlings Theater, where she currently teaches improv. Carrie's comedic essay, Sexual Harassment in the Workplace, was published in the just released book, Mortified, Love is a Battlefield. She regularly contributes political satire to the jibjab.com and relationship satire to bettyconfidential.com. So please welcome Carrie Stein.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for coming. First of all, thank you to the Committee on Lectures and the National Affairs Committee for bringing me back to Iowa State. I'm an alum. I don't know if you guys knew that, but yeah. So wait, this is an awesome turnout. Thank you. How many people are here for extra credit? Be honest. Yeah, let's just be honest with ourselves. All right. No, thank you for coming. And what I thought I would do maybe is tell you guys a little bit about what I do and the various jobs I have, and a little bit about how I got those jobs, and then maybe some tips that I've discovered along the way that I think can be helpful for recent college grads or people about to enter the workforce who might want to do writing or comedy. And I might do a little performance if you feel like it. And I'll show some videos so we can have like audio-visual fun. And then I'll take questions, all right? So when I first came here as a freshman, I was an engineering major. I was dating some nerdy boys. And then I discovered Grandma Mojo's right in this room, and that totally changed my life. And I discovered how much I love performing sketch comedy and improv. And now I'm writing for the Tyra Banks Show and for the New York Post about dating nerdy boys. So nothing has changed really that much. So when my first job out of Iowa State was with the Sundance Film Institute. So I worked with international writers, independent screenwriters, and I got to travel around the world, and that was awesome. But I also, when I got to Los Angeles, I started taking classes at the Groundlings. Do you guys know what the Groundlings? Have you heard of it? It's a lot of SNL, Saturday Night Live people come from the Groundlings, like Will Ferrell and Maya Rudolph, and currently Michaela Watkins, and Anna Gasteyer, a bunch of people. So I started taking classes there, and I realized after doing Mojo's, like I wanted that to be part of my life as well. So I've tried to find a way to balance all that comedy stuff with my writing background and what I wanted to do. And so while I was performing and doing things at Groundlings, I started, I kept notes about my life and wrote funny stories down. And so after having a collection of those stories, I found out that the Tyra Banks Show was hiring for like a dating blogger. And as I've already mentioned, I have some good bad date stories, and I'd already kind of written them down. And I encourage all of you, if you want to write or you want to do comedy, to not wait for somebody to give you the chance to do it, right? To just start doing it yourself. Find a place to perform or to write your own blog. Because then when I found out about this opening with the Tyra Show, I was able to send them a bunch of stories that I'd already collected, and I had already put my point of view, and it really helped me get the job. So I thought, just so you get a little taste, because this is a multimedia presentation, right? I not only write for the Tyra website, I blog, but I also was on a show. So here's an embarrassing video of me on the show. Ready? All right. Woo! I like cows. Are you ready for some tie-tie? Yeah.
And Katie. They're among a group of everyday single women from across the country who are on a quest to find love, and they've actually agreed to share their dating trials and tribulations on our Tyra Show website in a series called Single and Fierce. So Carrie, why have you decided to join our Single and Fierce blogging thing? Why have you decided?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, and I feel like sometimes I'm intimidating to guys because I can read, and, occasionally wear underwear in public, so nothing's working against me. But I have a knack for spectacularly awful date stories.
Really?
So I thought, why not share them with a million people, right?
Yeah. Can you give us one right now? What story do you have? That's a really bad one.
Well, I got set up with this guy, and I was all excited. I really didn't know anything. I just knew a few details, but I thought, I'm totally gonna marry him. You get all excited in your head, and you get built up. And so he shows up 15 minutes late. He's still not there. I call him, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were on FST." And I said, "FST, Female Standard Time." I assumed you'd be late. And then he shows up, and he looks like, did you see that movie Borat?
Yeah.
You know the producer?
Yeah.
Okay, but imagine that producer who gained 100 pounds, wore a crucifix, and black acid wash jeans. I was like, my prayers are answered.
We'll see what kind of adventures you ladies of Single and Fierce get yourselves into on TyraShow.com. You guys express yourselves so well, and I'm sure you're going to write just as expressive as they talk, right? All right, we'll be right back.
I think Tyra was mocking me at the end. Thanks, Tyra. But I show that clip, probably because it's embarrassing and fun, and I love to share my mortifying stories with strangers. But also, I want to demonstrate that if you do want to go into any sort of media or writing, that you have to be prepared to do all sorts of things. The writing and the content is the most important thing, and that's the thing you should focus in on. But know that you're going to be expected to go on TV, write a blog on top of it, Twitter about it, Facebook about it, do all these things. Your job is going to be so diversified. And the more skilled you can become at these things now, the more it's going to help you down the road. The last story I did for the New York Post, I did the article, a video, I blogged about it, and I was my own photographer. But that will make you, kind of a standout if you can do those skills. And any chance you have here to take a class, like in designing your own website or video production or anything, just diversify as much as you can. It will really help. I also write for another website called BettyConfidential.com, which is a really growing women's website, and you should all go to it and register, right? Okay? All right. But for that site, we just did a cool thing. I was reporting live from one of the big Oscar parties, and we used a cool new technology. So we were shooting it with a regular DV camera, but then we used a cell phone to live stream it back to the website. So it's called quick.com is the website. And it's a really neat technology. I think Ashton Kutcher is using it too. So So that's something you all should check out because I feel pretty soon everyone's going to be live streaming from their cell phone video cameras. And it's just amazing how many different forms of media they'll kind of like squeeze out of one little topic. And one of my I have a lot of jobs, don't I? I also write for the New York Post, and I write a weekly dating column. But the way that I got my job at I write a weekly dating top 5 list, I should say. But the way I got that job was because they saw my writing for Tyra and my blogs and my videos. And the only way I had the writing for Tyra is because I started doing it on my own first. So with the New York Post, I pitched them an idea for a story, for my first story for them, which is called Outsourcing Love. And what I did was basically hire a virtual assistant in India to find me dates in New York City. And I had this guy like plan my outfits, and he did all these like spreadsheets for me, and he like wrote a list of jokes I could tell on the first date. And then I had him write love notes on my behalf, which he mangled, but they were amazing anyway. It was like, thank you for this first date. I believe we are meant for each other, and woman comes from man's elbow, and I am meant for you. That guy had to go out of town for like 2 months after our first date, maybe because we didn't date. But anyway, so the idea was that have the idea on your own and then go to someone. Go pitch them your crazy fun idea. Think of what sounds fun to you. It doesn't have to be dating. I mean, I think that's fun, but whatever appeals to you, go out and find the project, and make it happen on your own. So I pitched that, and the editor liked it, and then we ended up making a video of my first date, one of my first dates. And now that article we're in negotiations for it to be made into a big movie. So it's amazing, like one little idea can turn into this huge thing. So if you haven't even go out, do it, like shoot a version of it, or write a, treatment of it. So I thought I would show you a little video of that. This is what we did for the NewYorkPost.com website, which, by the way, I know everyone's, newspapers are really struggling and dying right now, but their websites are still strong. So be ready, for writing online and to doing videos to go along with all your stories. All right. That's my mom taking pictures.
I have decided, because I can't manage my love life on my own, to hire a virtual assistant from India to manage it for me. I'm here at the Central Park Boathouse about to meet my date, but I'm going to call and get some last-minute pointers from my love guru, Suresh. Okay, here's Suresh calling. Hello?
My name is Suresh.
Hi, Suresh, how are you? Tell me again why you thought Jeff would be so great.
Yeah, he was almost unique from all the other persons, and also he just loves what he does. He's very passionate. I selected you to wear a skirt. For you, black would be wonderful. Whoa. So use some glances, head movements, we did show some training for him, even when you speak with him.
I'm a little bit nervous before my date. What should I do? Do you have any tips?
Just be confident, do not be serious, and have this as casual as possible.
So what do you do for work?
I hang out.
Men are not exactly looking for a catwalk model.
How did you feel when you first laid eyes on me?
I was extremely pleased.
Men who like a great sense of humor.
Do you have any raisins?
No, I don't.
How about a second date with me?
Something like open-ended questions.
Blonde.
Like what?
What if it's going well? Do you think I should kiss him?
Do you really like him?
You're a winner.
If you think that he is a great match for you, I would say that you have to be.
My first date with Jeff was really fun. He's totally nice. I think Suresh did an awesome job picking him out.
I would definitely see her again.
You can get advice on matters of the heart from someone thousands and thousands of miles away who's never met you before, and they can actually give you better advice than you give yourself. I'm Carrie Sun for NYPost.com.
using our camera now. I feel like I know you all so well. All right, so that's kind of a little bit about what I do, just as an introduction. I also perform improv with the Groundlings from time to time, and I teach improv at the Groundlings. And again, I want to thank Grandma Lily Rose for getting me into that world. So what I thought I'd do now is just give you some things some like little pointers that I found along the way that seem to really help me and other people that I've talked to who've had success. These are some things that they say are really important. So the first thing is called yes and that's a big concept in improv. We always want to say yes to ideas, like agree with them, and then we want to expand on them. We want to say yes to them, and then we want to add something of ourselves to them. So, like, I reported live on Oscar Sunday, but I didn't find out about that until like a week before, and I get the call, and you just automatically, your response is to say yes, and be really open to those opportunities. Inside, I was freaking out, like, there's no time, I don't know my questions, I'm not aware, all these important things. But the idea is just to always say yes. And I don't recommend anyone writes for free all the time. There's nothing wrong with writing 1 or 2 sample pieces for a website or a publication, or being an intern for a summer for free if it's going to help you get that experience, and get in the door. Don't keep doing it. Don't undervalue yourself and your worth. But there's nothing wrong with doing it that way for first. Like Betty Confidential asked when they first hired me if they could use one of my essays I'd already written for Tyra for free, and I said sure. And now I have like a paid position with them. And so I think there's, take those opportunities whenever they come up. Also, you have to build your brand. Yeah, if you want to be like a successful blogger and make money and get advertisers, you have to reach out, you have to do Facebook, you have to Twitter, make your own videos on YouTube, put them up on Funny or Die or College Humor or whatever. Live stream your own stuff. Build a following, and the only way you build a following is if you create your own content. Put on shows wherever you can, or if that's your thing, or write your own blog. Right? Build that stuff up. Build your brand. Also, don't be afraid to ask for what you want and go for what you really want. When I was, a sophomore here at Iowa State, I wanted to get an internship for the summer. And I got rejected from all the local Des Moines news stations. But I got accepted to National Geographic Television in D.C., which is like a big lesson in don't worry about it if you get rejected. You're going to get rejected over and over and over. But go for the place you really want to be. It can't hurt. And then have Pat Miller write you great reference letters. But just, make it happen. And write thank you notes. This is probably the best advice I could ever give you. It is so important. Write them by hand. Send them a personal thank you note when you have an interview or when you meet someone, when you just ask for some advice and you have a little meeting. Write them a thank you note. You will stand out. They will remember you. Okay? I've been told this by so many people. We hired you because you were the only one to write a thank you note. I think it's super important. Instead of sleeping my way to the top, I am thanking my way to the upper middle. All right. Okay. Okay, and then reach out to people who inspire you. All right? There's no rule book that says, oh, they're an author, or they're on TV, or I can't write to them, or if you're an engineer, there's or a scientist, and there's like a scientist who wrote a book that inspired you. Track them down. Send them an email. It's easier to track people down than you think. I give you permission. Do it. All right? Stop them. No, but reach out to them and compliment them, flatter them in a very sincere way. Tell them what specifically inspired you about their work, and reach out to them. And then if you're in the same town, invite them to coffee, or find a reason to be in their town and say, hey, I'm going to be in town. Do you have a second? Can I take you to coffee? Don't something crazy is going on. Wow. All right, but would you like to share with the entire class? No? Okay. But the idea is that you don't want to flat out say, like, I need a job, I need you to help me. Don't be desperate about it, but be confident, and the compliment will work. I would tell you, like, 9 times out of 10, it will work, and it will help you. Maybe you won't get the job that year, but someday down the line, they're going to remember you. Like, the way I got the job for the New York Post is there was a girl who's a reporter for the New York Post, Mandy Statmiller, and she writes a dating column and she does comedy. And I saw a magazine article about her, and I found her email, and I said, I think it's so cool that you do comedy and you write, and you also do a dating column. I just started doing a dating column. Can I take you to coffee and ask you about how you do it? And then 6 months later, I was doing that story for the New York Post. I have a regular job with them, and now it's going to be a movie. It can happen that easily, and it's all, if you just have to have the guts to reach out. All right, do your homework. Know what you want to do and prepare for it. Take all the classes. Have your own interesting opinion. Have a strong point of view on the world. A strong point of view is so important because so many people don't. And don't be afraid to multitask. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself or restrict yourself to one area. Think about Steve Martin. He does a million things. He does stand-up and writes and directs and performs and he plays a banjo. You can do all those things. You don't have to pick one. There's nobody that says you have to pick one, so don't make them say that to you. You don't. You can have crazy jobs like me. Go on dates on camera. All right. And then, like I said before, create your own material. As much as you can, it will really help you. You don't have to wait for anybody to tell you it's okay to do it. So, Pat, do you think we should do questions now, or should I do my little performance thing first, or? Should I do a little performance? Okay. So what I thought I would do, I perform in this show called Mortified, and the website's getmortified.com, and it's a live show in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, a bunch of other cities. Those are the cities I've done it. And one of my essays is in a book for Mortified. And basically what Mortified is, and you all could do it too, is that you read your real-life childhood diaries, like what you really wrote, or your essays or whatever, out loud in front of strangers. And it's mortifying. But it's awesome too. So I have two little pieces that are really, really, really excerpts from my old childhood writings, and my mom can verify that they're really are. And I thought I would read them for you. So just so you know, I've always been a writer, and the problem is that I always wanted to read what I wrote out loud in front of people, but it didn't always work out for a couple reasons. There's some rules about writing, right? Number one, write for your audience. I usually wrote against my audience. And write what you know. I never really wrote about anything that I'd actually experienced. So when I was in 7th grade, my English teacher said that we had to write an essay about something we had experienced personally. So I chose sexual harassment in the workplace. And, okay, so you guys, just to set the scene, I want you to see what I looked like back in 7th grade when I wrote this essay. Remember, it's about sexual harassment. It was a huge problem for me. It happens every day. A group of teenage boys gathers near the restroom as a lone girl tries to make her way to class. The boys' noisy whistles, obvious stares, and endless calls of, yeah, I'd like to do that, feel like a slap in the face to the girl. While she was not physically attacked, the boys' words might as well have been a sexual assault on the girl. Girls should not have to come to school knowing that they will be looked up and down by half the math class. Or wonder how they ranked on a pedal, which is a list of the most desirable girls in school and totally unfair. All children should be taught to respect each other at an early age. Perhaps if Clarence Thomas had learned this lesson, he wouldn't have been taken to court for sexual harassment. All men should realize that coming to terms with women as real people and not fantasies It's a part of growing up.
All right. Okay, so that was me in 7th grade.
But my writing goes back even further than that. So when I was in 4th grade, I auditioned for A Christmas Carol, that, like the musical Christmas Carol at my little community theater in Bellevue, Nebraska. And all the other people auditioning brought a song to sing, or they brought a little side to read. I wrote my own monologue. It was 8 pages, handwritten. And I read the whole thing in its entirety. But tonight I'm just going to give you a little excerpt of it, okay? But I want you to see again what I look like. Okay, so that's what, just imagine me, I'm going in for this music audition for A Christmas Carol. Insane? You would not say the same of me had you been there that night. My name is Dr. John Edwin. Strange. You may call it strange that I'm a doctor, but it should only prove to you that my story is all true. I've been finishing an autopsy of an old patient. I'm 4th grade. Auditioning, to be an angel. His name was Henry Shepard. Henry and I had a dispute. He claims I prescribed him the wrong medication for his hand-shaking problem. He claims it made his hands shake more. Ridiculous! On October 31st, the phone rang. It was Henry's lawyer. I was still the prime benefactor of Henry's $2,700 fortune. I wouldn't have accepted it. I was fuming with anger. My hands trembled with violence. I was going to scream horrible words to the lawyer, but my brilliant mind was thinking ahead of my body. A darkness fell upon me. It was like a normal day. At 3 o'clock, I went down to the basement to get my gold silverware set. It was an eerie night. I finally came to Henry's home. I said, "Goodbye, Henry." My hand lunged into Henry's stomach. Oh, he was not surprised. He simply fell limply to the floor and stiffened. He died with a look of pain on his face. It disgusted me then, and it still does now. The next morning, I felt refreshed. I thought everyone would understand if I explained it to them. Later in the morning, I had another thought. Most people are pretty insensitive. I thought it would be better to keep quiet. I wouldn't even have been involved in the autopsy if another doctor, Terry Hall, had found something slightly peculiar in Henry Shepard's body. It was an object, and Terry guessed it was metal. Any ordinary doctor would have let it go. But Terry was curious, a little too curious. Terry told me the piece of gold in Henry's body was a very unusual kind. It had a certain kind of lead base that was only made for 1 year in Mexico, which made it a collector's item. And then he had the idiotic nerve to tell me it reminded him of some gold silverware set he had seen. Terry is now dead. And now, my friends, you know what happened on the 31st of October. I got Cassie the Caroler. All right, you guys, so that was my little performance. Thank you. Does anyone have questions? Oh, I satisfied you all. How many of you are journalists, students, majors? You guys don't have questions? Uh-oh, your extra credit's going away. You guys want to ask a question now? Because I'll keep spilling stuff until you do. Come on, the mic stand's going down next. Yes? Yes, yes, yes.
What about your writing habits? How do you make yourself write when you don't want to write?
Okay, well, that's a great question. How do you make yourself write when you don't want to write? There's some really good books on this. There's an Anne Lamott book called Bird by Bird, and she talks about writing. Treat it the same way you treat it like cleaning a toilet. Like, nobody ever feels like cleaning a toilet, but you got to do it, so just go do it, right? So one attitude is to just treat it like any other household chore. And the other thing she talks about is don't make your writing assignment so huge that it's overwhelming. Just write enough so that it's like in a picture frame. That's all you have to fill. And just do it little bit by bit, or she says bird by bird. Handle, so you don't make it so overwhelming. But I do think it's important to write every single day and to set aside time for it. And once you get into the habit, it's not so bad. Yeah? More question.
What do you write about every day?
Well, I write for Betty Confidential. I write about celebrities, relationships. Oh, are you talking like for myself?
Yeah, what do you practice?
I love observing people and finding characters, and I love writing character sketches. So I'll hang out in the park and find interesting people, or I do that sort of writing, and then and then I do a lot of writing for work as well, like article writing. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, my next project is a book, so that's my next plan. I want to put some of my columns together and some of the fun advice I've learned through improv and dating together in a book, and rule the world, and find Terry Hall and make him pay. Right?
Do you ever compare yourself to Carrie Bradshaw?
Oh, people say that a lot, especially because my name is Carrie, and I write for the Post, which is where Candace, who wrote the book, started. Yeah, so it's kind of similar. Although it's not really popular to be at the Post right now. I don't know if you guys are watching the news. I understand that. Yeah. Yes.
Which publications you write for? Which one do you like enjoy writing for the most?
So he asked of all the places that I write, which one do I enjoy writing for the most? It's different. I mean, the Post is great because tons of people read it. It gets a lot of circulation, and they let you do kind of fun stuff. I love writing blogs because I get to write just my opinion and my stories. That's the most freeing for me. So when I write the blogs for Tyra or for Betty, those are the most fun for me because it's whatever I want to do. Freedom. Anybody else? Yes?
What's a good way to create your own material? What's a good way to promote that and get it out?
Well, I think a great way to do it, first of all, is get your own website or your blog, so you can post regularly, and then reach out to a publication that you like, and find the editor and send them a note and see if they do internships or see if they're hiring writers. A lot of places, if you say you write for free for a little bit, will hire you and you'll get your stuff published and you'll build an audience. And then, find if you have a great idea, you got to promote it. Link to it on Facebook. All those things, dig it. Twitter about it, all that stuff. And then keep putting up content regularly. You've got to keep feeding the beast. It's always got to be fresh. That's the biggest thing is consistency. If you're going to be a blogger, you can't just do it every now and then. It needs to be really regular so that people want to keep coming back and find something new every time they do come back. Anything else? Yes, hi.
Hi. What exactly is your movie about? Are you going to be in it?
I'd like to be in it, but it's about outsourcing love. So we'll see. We're kind of in negotiations, but I was approached by a producer who saw the article and thought it would be a fun movie. Well, we still have we just kind of have to, it'll be a long process, so we're still kind of working everything out. But I'll let you know when it does, for sure. I hope it does well. No? All right. Oh, I wanted to do make a quick note that I was going to be performing at Mojo's tonight, and unfortunately I have a callback in Los Angeles, so I have to catch a flight out of Omaha at 6 a.m., so I'm going to have to hit the road. But I know Mojo's going to be an awesome show tonight, so I hope everybody that can stays for that. All right. Anybody else? Any question you're dying to know? All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
One more hand, please, everybody. Thank you. If there's any more questions, too, Carrie's going to stick around for a little bit. So if you have any questions, 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 if you have any questions,